Coming to you live this morning from the Mushroom Kingdom, this is WKBAG Studios, Wario, K-Rool, Andros, Bowser, Ganon. This is Video Games, a Comedy Show, and I am your host, Connor McCabe, for episode 329, where for the main event later, we're going to be conducting the first ever video game dating game. That's right, folks. We've got a spin on the classic game, the game show with a little video game twist. A little bit of housekeeping up top for the podcast is that before that, we're also going to be joined by a special character that I'm going to be bringing on the show, a special guest, rather. Not a character, it's a real person. It should be a lot of fun. But without further ado, why don't I introduce my guests for today's episode? So first and foremost, I actually can't tell you when this person made his last appearance on the show, but it's Oscar Montoya. Oscar, welcome.
Hi, glad to be back.
Hey,
let's play some games.
Let's play some games. It's so good to have you. Oscar, in the clunkiest way possible, I have to, somehow, play your 2025 sound effect. It's been a while. I think the last time you were actually on the show was for the video game charcuterie board episode. Do you remember when we did that exercise?
Yes, I love it.
That was a whole thing. It was so much fun. And I don't even remember what the heck. I think I had like an Oscar the Grouch thing in there at some point. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to open up your sound effect as I'm trying to do this live on stream and also play it for you. All right, cool. Here I go. Oscar, without further ado, let's see. Let's try this again. Thank you for bearing with me. We are going to play your 2025 sound effect. Let's make sure that share sound is working. Share screen. Okay. Are you ready for your 2025 sound effect?
Yes.
Here we go. Would you like to hear your 2025 sound effect just one more time?
I love it. Yes, please.
Okay, great. Here we go. What more could you want? What more could you need?
It sounds like I'm asking Donkey Kong to go on a ride with him.
It really does.
Want to take you for a ride, Donkey Kong? That's what that sounds like.
Yes, and you just kind of have get like a frog in your throat right between those parts of the sentences.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Yes.
I'm nervous.
Oscar, it's so good to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
One other amazing guest on the show. The last time she was here, we had our whole Advent Children movie breakdown episode. It's none other than Kristin Thorsin.
That's me, the champion of Advent Children, this movie that you need to read a bunch of books to understand.
Yeah. One of the highlights of my year, finally watching that movie. And I kid you not, I did enjoy it very much, despite it being a big old mess. Oscar, have you seen Advent Children?
I haven't. It's like kind of hard to find.
You can.
Is it available to watch anywhere?
I think I rented it like via Apple or something like that. It's out there for sure. But I would understand why someone wouldn't choose to find it.
Blu-ray.
Yeah, because I'll just send you the Blu-ray.
I love it.
Now I'm particularly jealous of that. Well, Kristin, like Oscar, you also are about to hear your 2025 sound effect for the very first time. Are you ready
to hear?
To go on this ride?
Yeah. Am I also going on a ride? It's just the same one, but it's Diddy Kong.
You are going.
Yeah. Ooh.
Going on an absolute ride here. Here we go without further ado.
This is Macarena Temple.
Okay, one more time. Would you like to hear your 2025 sound effect?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. Because on the first episode, it always bears repeating, but here we are.
They say Seymour went to Macarena Temple.
You could play that for somebody and not tell them it was for me, and if they knew me, they'd be like, "That's for Kristin Thorsin."
Yes, exactly, 100%. You know, just took my first idea. That's definitely first draft sound effects, but boy, I was tickled by them. We got a little in yours. We've got a little Bow Wow Wow from 7 Rebirth, which I know you loved that game. Both of our games of the year.
Yes.
From last year.
Yep.
But we never talked about the Bow Wow Wow of it all, but who wouldn't love that?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. It's the best song on the whole
I
soundtrack.
think it truly is. Oscar, you didn't happen to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth last year, did you?
I have not, no. No, my backlog is massive, but it's on my back. It's like in that
And
list.
may it
I
grow
just
forever. It's a song that someday you'll understand, but it's basically there's several sequences where you follow a dog around, and that's the song that plays. They even have a battle version of the music, Kristen, which I
It's so
also
good.
almost used.
love that.
Was
It's
so
fantastic. They
close.
played it at Distant Worlds when I went.
Did they really?
Yeah, I did it. I went to a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Distant Worlds and they played it. And I was
Oh,
like,
I'm jealous.
this is heaven.
And of course, we got some. I say his name Titus. Talking about the Macarena Temple from Final
Hmm.
Fantasy X.
Right.
And the last time that the three of us did a podcast together, it was the Final Fantasy X Call Me by Your Game co-op back in 2020.
That is so long
Wow.
ago.
Yeah, that feels kind of nuts. Well, folks, we've done our introductions. Now we can really get to having fun. And why don't we start with hearing what everybody has been playing? I'll kick it off for us. I'll touch on a couple things briefly, and then I'll talk about the thing that was probably my highlight of gaming for the week. Um, I'm playing 3 games for podcasts right now. I'm playing Control for the Super NPC Radio Games Club, the game we're currently covering over on Patreon for DJ Toad patrons and above. It'll eventually come out on the free feed. Playing that, which I finished the main game. Have either of you played Control?
I have not.
Not
Oh,
me.
if you like a weird action adventure with some David Lynchian vibes and
Love it.
at a place where you eventually feel like Superman, I think you might like it. I'm also for February. This is all basically what I've been playing are promos for other podcasts I'm doing. This year, we're doing indie games for the co-op series, of which you two have been on plenty of those episodes. And for the month of February, I'm covering Papers, Please, a game by Lucas Pope, which I'm playing for the first time. Just did my first 2-hour run last night. I didn't realize it was going to be sort of a run-based game with a million endings to it. By a
Yeah.
million, I think I mean there's 20. Any experience from either of you two with this depressing ass game?
I've played it a little bit. I'm really bad at spot the difference games though. So
Yeah.
this is just immediately everybody could come in.
Yep. That's pretty much what the game is. And there's a couple of little mechanics that I think make it really compelling as a game that I knew a little bit about it going into it, but there's more to it than I thought, and it's so stressful but also compelling at the same time. I'm also playing a game that I know Kristen at least loves. I've been playing throughout the year from January through December. I'm playing my first ever run of Stardew Valley. Uh, Oscar, have you touched this game?
It's dangerous. It's
Ooh!
dangerous. I'm not. I for fear of having literally no life afterwards. I can't play a game like that.
You got
Yeah,
to do it. I called
yeah.
out of work when I first started playing it.
Oh, no
Oh my
way.
God, seriously?
100%. I was like, I'm taking a day. I gotta tend to some things in here in Pelican Town.
Oh my goodness. Well, I've been loving it. I've talked to Kristen a little bit about this over text, but it's been fun to finally dive into the game. Kind of immediately, I could see the appeal, and not just the appeal, but why it's so hard to put down. It's one of those different than a roguelike or like a Civ game. It has that pull of just one more game, just one more run, or one more day, really in Stardew because it's like
Hmm.
15 minutes or so just to play just one little day. And what how can I say no to that, right, Kristen?
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh.
It's yeah. And then,
You got to give in.
and then it's almost the end of spring, so you might as well play till summer
Yeah,
starts.
may as well. You get it. Well,
Give in
last
to
night
the stew.
I truly used it as a chaser for Papers, Please last night. I played that for 2 hours on stream. Was it was depressing. It stressed me out, even though I thought it was great. And then I was like, we're finishing with one day of Stardew Valley, and nothing that killing some monsters in a mine with your bone club, nothing that can fix. So, um, the main event though, a game I've been playing, that I started the last week and I continued playing it. another night this week was the first. I'm revisiting the first Metal Gear Solid on the actual PlayStation 1, and there's just so much about this game that I love. It's amazing to play it on a CRT, but I've only ever gone through the whole thing once, one full time. But yeah, I love that game. It's fantastic. There's not much I really have to say about it. Well, I guess what I will say is that I have met Meryl, and the DARPA chief has gone down. Is basically where I am. So not very far. But I'll turn it to my guests here. Kristin, let's start with you. What have you been playing?
I've been in like a weird video game slump where like everything I try, I'm just like, huh. So
Yes.
I was playing Banjo-Tooie a little bit on my Twitch stream, and then like it's fun, but it's also just too long. I was like,
And it's so bloated.
yeah, I've been feeling real Goldilocks about my games, and this one's too long. And then I've been playing Dragon Age: The Veilguard. I got that for Christmas, so I've been playing through that off stream.
Oh, are you a big BioWare person, or is this kind of new?
I'm a BioWare person in like the just Mass Effect and Dragon Age. I've never
Okay.
played like Knights of the Old Republic or anything like that.
Gotcha.
But I do really love Dragon Age Origins, and I love Mass Effect 2. Like, so those are, if we ever did like if you ever were like, hey, I need everybody to make a top 25 list, those would probably
Yes.
both be in my list. And it's just, this one's like, it's okay. It's interesting enough to like keep me playing it. But I did dump the difficulty down to easy just because I'm tired of playing it. But I'm like, I want to get through this and see what happens, but I don't care to struggle against this dragon.
Yes.
Why
Do you-
would you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Play games because they're fun, not because they're
Yeah.
impossible to beat.
Yep. Yeah. So I don't know. I've been and then I was gonna get Civilization 7, and I saw that it was having some struggles on on its launch, and so I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait till it goes on sale because it is like $80 or something crazy. So yeah, I'm trying to think, what else did I play? That's pretty much all I've been playing, except for
Okay.
Balatro on my phone, also on the bus.
And you just got to do that.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite? I have played the first two Mass Effect games. I'm a big fan of both, especially part two. Do you have a favorite? But all that to say, I have never touched Dragon Age. Do you have a favorite game in that series?
Oh, the first one for sure.
Origins.
Yeah. The second one is like okay. And then the third one, a lot of people really didn't like, but I liked a lot. But the first one, wow. Our
Okay.
mutual friend Jake also loves Dragon Age Origins.
Yes.
Put another rubber stamp on it.
Oh yeah, one of those games was also on his top 10. I don't, was it Origins or
It
was
must
it?
have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh.
I thought you were going to ask who my favorite romance in Mass Effect was.
I mean, do you want to answer that question? 'Cause
Spill.
Miranda. Everybody hates on Miranda, but I love Miranda.
dude, in my first ever Mass Effect 2 run, carrying my character through that I played for the Games Club last year, their first game, in part 2, that's exactly who I had romance with.
There you go.
You know what I
Great
liked
taste.
about her? We talk about it on the episode, but I liked that it was like she was someone who, you know, she had her own past, but she is a part of the system. You know, she's part of the system. You know, she's
the
a part of
man.
the, sort of a part of the oppressor. But I really liked that at a certain point in this game, she showed the capacity to change and to sort of break from that. And to me, I was like, well, you had that on top of being drop dead gorgeous. What more do you need?
Yvonne Strahovski, who will break from the system?
Yeah.
You're not going to find that in Handmaid's Tale.
Gosh, it's good. That game's amazing. But I'm glad you thought I was going to ask you that, because
Yeah, I
otherwise
was-
that wouldn't have come up on this episode. Kristin, are there any games that you are, since you're in a bit of a slump game-wise, are there any games that you got your eye on, whether they haven't come out yet and you want to play them, or games that you just have on your backlog?
I have so much on my backlog, but my two upcoming that I'm gonna buy anyway, despite that, they just announced some Wallace and Gromit DLC for Power Wash Simulator.
What they did? What?
No
They
way.
100% they
Do
announced
they
it
just
yesterday.
do they just turn into mush because they're clay?
That's a good question. But I love Power Wash Simulator. It's so fun. I get every DLC they put out, so I'm excited for that. And then there's this game called Everhood. It was an indie game from a few years back,
Huh.
and it's like sort of a rhythm game, and it's also sort of it definitely took a lot of inspiration from Undertale, I'll say.
Okay.
It's but it's like got rhythm based combat, and they announced Everhood 2 like a couple of years ago, and it's finally supposed to come out in March or
Oh.
May. So I'm really excited for that. But I love me a
Okay.
rhythm game, and then when you make it like an RPG rhythm game, yes, I'm
Okay.
in.
Now we're getting into
Nice.
that series I can't remember the name of that you really like, the Final Fantasy one. What's it called?
Oh,
Final Fantasy.
Well, what's the rhythm one that you really like?
The rhythm. Are you talking about Rhapsody, the musical adventure?
No, that's not what I'm
oh, you're
talking.
not?
Gosh,
Oh,
what am I talking
First
about?
of all, I think you would love Rhapsody, a musical adventure.
Ooh, me.
Yes, I do. Have you played it, Oscar?
No.
Oh, well, it's great. It's a full-on musical for the PS1, and it's like tactics style. It's like tactics kind of for it's like very easy tactics style combat. And it's like a musical with full numbers in it. It's
What?
yeah,
Like
it's
original music?
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
I also
Uh,
I've found the name of the series I was trying to think of. It's Theatrhythm.
oh, theater. Yes, Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought when you were saying that it was like a different thing from Final Fantasy. Yeah. I do love Final
Okay.
Fantasy Theater Rhythm.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, that was me belatedly connecting those dots.
Yeah.
Incredible. Oscar Montoya. What are you playing?
Currently I am playing Persona 3 Reload.
Oh.
And that's been really fun. Also, I am I embarrassed to say this? I don't know. I'm playing Infinite Nikki. Here we go.
Hey,
I'm
I'm not placating you. I've heard some great stuff about this game.
It's a great game, but with those gotcha games, I was like, I will never ever play. When Genshin Impact came out, I was like, couldn't be me. Sorry.
Mhm.
And then when the Infinite Nikki trailer dropped a while back, I was like, wait a second, what is this?
Oh no, they've
And
got me.
then I was like, you know what? Let me just dip my toe. Let me just like make one dress. And I've been playing it ever since, and it's my Stardew Valley. It's like, okay, well,
Wow.
one more dress. I'll make one more dress. Why not? I'll
Oh,
find ingredients for another dress. Sure.
incredible.
I love it. It's a perfect, cute little game.
Because it's also, I know I'm just asking you details about it here, but it's like it's it's an open world game with a focus
Yes.
on outfits. Is that a fair description, or is there a little more to it than I'm saying?
Yes, no, that's
Okay.
pretty much it. It's you do stuff like you fish and then you sort of brush animals so you can get their fur so you can
Ooh.
make outfits. But yeah, you're just creating outfits and you're just styling them and then you go on stylist duels where you like sort of compete with other stylists to be like, "Oh, the theme is dewy evening day." You know what I mean? So like then you make an outfit that fits that category and it's fantastic. And then
It's
before
like
you
Dress
know
to
it,
Impress.
pretty much the video game, yeah. It's pretty great. It's pretty fun. And you can make so many outfits. You can decorate her in a billion different ways. I love it. It's great.
I I'm so stuck on the idea that like you brush animals to get their fur. It's like a humane
Yes.
monster hunter. It also
Hmm.
like instead of just
Yes.
destroying a Rathalos, you're just like petting it and sort of like getting the scales on your hand and putting that in a
Yeah.
little jar. Uh
Then there's animals where you have to like catch the bugs that's swarming on this animal, and then it lets you like take some fur off of it because it's like, oh, thank you so much.
yeah, here's your
Oh
reward.
man.
Yeah, here's your reward, a piece of my
Interesting.
fur.
Is that a game that you'll like go in, Oscar, and do you play that game for like long sessions? Is it just like, oh, I'll check in every so often?
It's yeah, well, there's like so much to do and they keep adding content, which is really fun. But yeah, it's like not one of those games where you're like stressed out. Like stress is not an element of Infinite Nikki
Okay.
at all. The aesthetic, the color palette, like the gameplay itself, there is some like battling elements to the game, but it's not like incredibly difficult and it's not stressful at all. You could
Okay.
just take your time. It's very relaxing.
Okay, lovely. What is there? So we've got Infinity Nikki for you. Is there another game or anything you've been dipping into outside of that, or is it just that game?
Infinite Nikki, Persona 3
Oh, duh,
Reload.
you said that.
I'm also
Sorry.
playing like the Capcom Fighting Evolution because of Marvel's Capcom 2. It's just a perfect collection of fighting games.
I love it. And is there anything that you have your eye on coming out soon, or that you're about ready to play?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when it's dropping, but ever since the trailer for Showa American Story dropped, I'm like, what is this game? What's going on? And it's been my obsession I've shown everyone I that comes over my house. I'm like, you have to see this trailer. So like I cannot wait for that game to release.
American Story drop?
Oh no,
Showa
a
American Story.
Showa American Story.
Oh,
SHOWA American Story. It's
I'm
crazy. The
wish
premise
listing this.
is wild.
I mean, this is
It's
also you're not showing me the trailer, but you're also leading me to the game, like all of the other people in your life.
yeah, seriously.
Okay, an
Everyone
upcoming.
want like everyone listening, watch the trailer for Show American Story. You're like, how is this a game? There's so many weird elements to this that kind of doesn't make any sense, but it's a game that's coming
Interesting.
out.
I'm seeing here it's described as an upcoming action RPG for the PS5. It presents an alternate history where Japan won World War II and now controls the United States. It takes place in a reimagined 1980s America influenced by Japanese culture. Very interesting. How have I not? It's coming out for the PS5. I just watched a whole PlayStation State of Play. I didn't see anything about this thing. It's probably not
It's
published by
wild.
PlayStation, that's why.
No, it's not.
Um, okay, very cool. I mean, speaking of things that are coming out, I want to highlight just a couple of things that occurred this week in the world of video game news. This may have already happened, but it was not mentioned on this show. But Nintendo has revealed the time that they will live stream the Nintendo Direct 2 specific presentation. That will be on April 2nd at 6 a.m. Pacific time. We're all on the West Coast. I gotta say, folks, too early for me, but I might wait because this is so big. I might actually try to wake up at 6 and then go back to sleep
Ooh.
to watch it. I usually when they have these like 7 a.m. directs, I'm usually like waking up at like 8 and then watching them and just trying to like shield my eyes from YouTube as I click around to be like, oh, I think that's it. And when I see a couple spoilers, either of you gonna tune into this or just watch it belatedly?
I'm definitely not waking up for this.
Yeah,
That's
no,
for dang sure.
no, absolutely. Unless I happen to have a 7 a.m. meeting that day or something, and then I'll uh, already awake.
And plus, it's not like that information's going anywhere, right? We know
Yeah.
we know where we can find it. It's gonna be pretty easy. But anyway, again, April 2nd, in just about a month and a half, at 6 a.m. Pacific. Um, I also wanted to like sort of open the door to ask, did either of you watch the Sony PlayStation State of Play that happened a couple days ago?
I did. Yes, I was able to see it.
Okay. How about you, Kristen?
I didn't. I was working, and then
Hey,
and then I saw that nothing that I was interested in came out. So
well, that's okay. And I mean, that leads us into this moment where I just wanted to ask whoever saw it if there's anything interesting. Oscar, is there anything in that presentation that piqued your interest?
Well, the Monster Hunter, I mean, that was their big thing, was like,
It's what they opened with,
here's
yeah.
here's Rise, enjoy, consume, be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I will, 100%. Yes. Uh I'm trying to think. It's been a couple of days, so like I don't really remember what I
There was
saw that I
there was a
liked.
it was a pretty meaty presentation.
Yeah, there was a couple.
It's kind of a classic one. This happens in a lot of PlayStation State of Plays where I'm like, that was really cool. Almost none of this is for me in particular. A couple things of note, I will say, of course, was like a little bit of more of a Monster Hunter Rise tease, including teasing, I think, the first bit of free DLC that's coming out in April for that. They ended the presentation with the spotlight on the new Housemark game, which I guess I could have looked up before I started actually, talking about this. I want to say it's called like this is always good too when you're like, what was
Oh,
it
I know
called?
what I liked. I
What'd you
remember there
like?
was all these like Yakuza DLC for there was a Yakuza
Hmm.
DLC for Dave the Diver that I was like, what
Oh,
the heck? It was
yeah.
very cool. I was very into that. Also, there was a game called oh freaking hell, it's like a stop motion uh The Midnight Walk, I believe it was
That
called.
that
That
was
looks
like the coolest looking
insane.
thing to me.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I'm like, this feels something that I would be obsessed with. So like absolutely, that's what I'm excited for.
Yes. Oh, it does look so cool. Yeah. There was that. That was interesting to me. A lot to do with the animation. I'm a sucker for anything stop motion. I'll like consider it because I don't know if I've ever played a game with like a stop motion sort of I guess frame rate or art style
Hmm.
in it. So I'm very much in for that. There was another game too. I'm trying to remember where you
Is it
play as like
Digimon?
say it again.
Digimon?
Digimon, yeah.
Oh, there was a new Digimon game that
Oh, also like there was that re the like sort of remaster of Days Gone, which I'm very confused by because like wasn't that kind of a flop? Why are people like it feels like PlayStation is really pushing for this game to do well.
yeah, I
Did
maybe
y'all
they're
play
just
this game?
I did not
No.
touch Days Gone.
Yeah, that is surprising that they're redoing that because that it was, as far as I know, it was a flop. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody who played it.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally don't know a single person who's played it. So they're like, yeah, and guess what? We're doing
Yep.
it again. You're like,
Yeah.
wait, what?
Who knows?
Take
Maybe
your
they're
slop.
like yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like oh, it's worth it to us. We remaster a game, throw the name like the title remaster on it, and that's going to sell X amount of copies, so we do it. It's probably not that I think pessimistic as I'm sort of describing it as, but it kind of can feel like that sometimes. Especially we just getting remasters for games that we just had in the previous generation is always I don't know. It always rubs me a certain way, and I won't tell you if it's the wrong way or not.
Hmm.
Um, there was a trailer that had already leaked, but it was shown for Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater,
Hmm.
or Metal Gear Solid Delta, I think is another title for that game. There was a cool looking Shinobi Art of Vengeance game, um, which I thought looked really cool, sort of an action platformer Shinobi with a like the art style looks very beautiful as well. I'm trying to find one more thing that I saw that really piqued my interest. It's not the Dave the Diver Yakuza DLC, which that does tickle me. That's very funny. There's a new trailer for Split Fiction, which is the game by Hazelight Studios, which I love the gameplay of It Takes Two. I don't really like the narrative too much, but I'm interested in that. Midnight Walk, of course. Oh, Darwin's Paradox is the game I'm thinking of, which kind
Oh,
of
the octopus.
yes, you play as an octopus.
Yes.
It sort of looks like it's like a side-scrolling platformer adventure, reminiscent to me of like Limbo and Inside, where sort of like a cinematic platformer almost in a way. But I thought that was interesting. And then the last game I wanted to uh, highlight was the final game that they showed. Even though there's plenty of other stuff we could talk about, um, you can just feel me slowly scrolling through to there. Okay, it's Sorrow. I think it's Saros is how it's pronounced, but
Saros. Yeah. It looked cool.
it does look really cool. New game from Housemarque who made Returnal, a game I didn't play, but I also thought looked neat. Yeah,
The
that
dumbest
was
name of it was a fun game, but it's still the dumbest name ever.
yes. Oh
Yeah,
my
what does it
gosh,
even mean? Returnal?
Returnal.
it cracked me up.
Makes me
Um,
laugh every time I hear it.
the only other thing I really want to highlight is that a game I'm interested in that I was like mildly interested in, not from any of the gameplay, but because of the studio, Obsidian, which comes out this, I think it's Tuesday, Avowed, which will be available on Game Pass as well.
Hmm.
Yes.
I have not played a new game this year. Everything I've been playing has been old. I'm very interested in this because the buzz has been great from a lot of outlets that I really enjoy.
I haven't.
I
I've missed the boat. Where have I been the last 6 months? I don't know.
You've been in your video game slump. It's okay. We know.
Yeah, apparently.
Anyway, Avowed is coming out this week. It's probably.
Wait, you heard that it was good?
I've been hearing from
Ah,
outlets that I listen to, podcast wise, or people, video game journalists that have had early access to it, are speaking very highly of it. I never played Outer Worlds, and this is the same studio, same sort of style
right.
of game in a different setting. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's set in the world of is it Pillars of Eternity? That I think that's who it is that Obsidian made before. A totally different style of game, but people were very effusive about the way they started. So I might for the second time, like I had Game Pass to play Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I canceled it because
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I loved the Great Circle. I adored it. My type of game. But I might be re-upping Game Pass less than a month after I canceled it to play Avowed now and maybe Citizen Sleeper 2 or something. That is gonna do it for our brief news segment. But now we're gonna go ahead and welcome a special guest onto the episode. I've got a little making good to do, folks. So please welcome to the microphone my PlayStation Classic that I left at my apartment when I left for the fires. Are you there, PlayStation Classic? Seems like maybe PlayStation Classic stepped away while I was making PlayStation Classic wait to be let in. It seems like that's probably what happened.
It might be sulking because you left it.
It's probably what
Yeah,
happened.
that's true.
Yep. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe PlayStation Classic will wake up. We'll have to see. They're gonna be back at some point. Oh, PlayStation Classic. There you are. Sorry, I introduced you, but you must have been away or something.
Hello. No, I wasn't away. Maybe crying off in a corner.
Oh, okay. I
Aw.
mean,
Yes. Well. Connor McCabe.
hi.
Seems you remembered to do this podcast. Seems you, I don't know, remembered to invite some guests. Remembering a lot of things, it seems. So it would seem.
Yes.
Interesting.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I kind of the way I introduced it was I came clean. I said
Oh, okay.
I left
Did you-
you here during the fire and I took basically all my other video games, and I feel really bad about it, which is why you're here.
That's how you sound. Okay?
Okay.
Like a blithering fool. Okay? I literally saw you run out the door with oranges and lemons. Citrus literally grows on trees out here. You forgot me though. You forgot me.
Look, I'm
Absurd.
sorry.
I'm a classic.
I know.
Okay,
Yes.
Connor, you can't go to the damn Whole Foods and replace me.
Yeah, this is true
how could you?
PlayStation Classic, but here's what I was thinking, and I'm not saying it's right now, but what I was thinking was that the games that I like that were available on everyone knows the PlayStation Classic, the console
course they
Sony
do.
released, in
Yes.
2019, I think it was, that had 20 classic games on it. I have the ones on actual PlayStation 1. So when
Oh.
making choices, I was like,
Oh, I see. Oh,
Actual.
yeah.
Yikes.
So certain things should just burn then. Huh?
no, nothing
That's
should
what you're
burn.
thinking. Yeah. Well, you literally chose citrus over me. So, what does that say about you? What kind of person are you? Huh?
I'm an imperfect person, which I'm really sorry. I really wanted you to come on here to apologize and just say I hope at some point when you're ready you can forgive me, but I don't expect you to do that anytime soon.
Well, I guess that's something. I guess we
Okay.
can start our relationship over, per se. I'm so sorry, by the way, Oscar and Kristin, that you had to hear this little spat of ours.
No, but there's stuff that you two need to figure out because, if this is going to be a working relationship, especially on Valentine's Day, I think you need to clear the air a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
loved ones and all that.
Yeah, we're here
Sure.
to support you.
Well, thank
Oh,
you. Thank you.
you.
I don't suppose either of you would just something like something as precious as a PlayStation 1 classic. It
Oh,
just seems
no.
Needled
ridiculous
here.
to me. Yeah.
I don't personally think any of my video games are replaceable.
Oh, that.
I agree.
Oh,
They're all my babies, and I love them equally.
I I love you both, and as it just so happens, I'm on the market. I'm free. I'm single again, so that means a lot. And if you, I'm not saying we should date, but if you would like, I'm
Okay.
available.
I mean, look
So-
at that. You came on and you might have a new home to go
I,
to.
I-
Just-
that's enough out of you. We're
Okay.
having a moment here. Just
All right.
again, if either of you would like a date with me, PlayStation 1 Classic, maybe I do have a limited library. So what? I make up for in other ways, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I couldn't possibly know what you mean by that, but
I'm talking about oral sex, of course.
oh,
and,
okay, not what I
I
expected at
am
all.
and very good at it. Okay. If
You
that
know what?
interests either of you, just putting it out there. Okay?
Well, PlayStation Classic, I do want to say that, like, you know, I do feel really bad for what I did, and there's plenty of things. Beautiful monocle, by the way. The audio listeners at home can't see. You're dressed to
Thank
the
you.
nines.
Yes, well, I am a
Um,
classic, of course.
You are. I left plenty of things that I care about here, and it doesn't mean I don't care about you. It's just you only have so much room, and looking back, would I change what I did? Probably. If I had known that this is how you would feel, I probably would have done something different and brought you with me.
Okay. Well, just know that I would have never done anything like that or any type of devious, evil behavior. Not really my cup of tea, but to each his own, I
It's
suppose.
not evil. It's not. I didn't throw you into a fire. I forgot. Don't you run at the PAL frame rate? Aren't you like 60 hertz a second or something like that? Not even what we had
whatever.
here.
Okay. You're going to pick me apart now? I don't think so. Okay, I'm the one who was left in a fire, not you.
Okay.
Okay.
You were
I'm
left.
still-
You were left in an apartment that was safe from the fires. You weren't
Yeah.
left.
Well, it was hot in there. You left the heat on.
Okay.
Might as well have burned. Okay. You
All right.
could
Why
have
don't you just expose my
turned the
irresponsibility?
AC on or something.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
You know, you might as well burn the whole place down for all you care.
Okay. Well, PlayStation Classic.
Is there anything that Connor can say to you, PS Classic, that will make you sort of end up being back together with Connor?
That's a fabulous question. I suppose, Connor, you could simply say you renounce every and all other systems and commit to the PS1 Classic for the rest of your life. Not that hard to do. I mean,
Now I feel like the PlayStation Classic's trying to get one over on me. I feel like I know what's going to help here. PlayStation Classic, why don't I just turn you on and look through your library of games and maybe
Oh.
I'll play something real quick.
oh no, don't do that. Not necessary.
What?
I'll
You're back.
just
You're
head out.
complaining about me not taking you, but I can't play you. Why don't you want me to play you?
Oh, it's not that. I guess from the heat was on. It was a bit hot.
Okay.
You know, the controller might burn your little hands.
Something's-
I don't want to inconvenience you. So
No,
I'll
I
just
smell,
get out
something
of
smells
here.
fishy. I'm gonna go
Okay.
ahead. You know what? You've been complaining so much. You want me to use you?
Well-
I'll go ahead and turn you on right now.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
What? Whoa! Is this what it looks like? I'm looking at what's displayed on the TV.
Yes. Okay. I hacked myself and loaded some Nintendo games onto
Ugh.
myself.
Oh,
Big deal.
Oh,
Okay, it's not a crazy thing for a guy want to knock his bibs and bobs around little Mario. It's
Knock his
perfectly
bibs and bobs around.
Guys say that all the time.
You know what?
okay.
PS1
It's
Classic.
perfectly
you know what?
normal. Everyone does it. Everyone loads a Mario up and inserts the old memory card, if
This
you know
feels
what
like
I
a
mean.
live in a glass house situation. PlayStation Classic. Thank you for joining us on Video Games, the comedy show. Everyone, it's been PlayStation Classic. Why don't we clap them out?
Thank you. Don't forget your classics in a fire, like Connor
Okay,
here.
fair.
Never.
Farewell to you all. I love you all.
We
And
love
I
you
was
too.
serious about that oral sex thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm so sorry,
I
everybody. I'm
meant
so sorry.
that.
Oh, well, see ya.
Bye, PlayStation Classic.
Farewell!
PlayStation Classic doesn't know how to find the leave button. Okay. Well,
Did you really bring oranges when you evacuated?
I mean, I was like, what if I need citrus? As what I thought. And
That's very funny.
yeah. Well, so I'm so sorry about that, folks. Thanks for weathering the storm with me with PS1 Classic. Before we head in to our main event, you know what time it is. I gotta plug the Patreon. Patreon.com/super NPC Radio. What is Patreon, you might ask? Well, it's the place where all of our bonus video game podcasts are released monthly. Do you want to hear the contributors to our network break down a video game in a book club style format? Well, you got the Games Club on there at the DJ Toad tier. I've already talked about the Control, the game we're covering right now, where we're playing it chapter by chapter, releasing every new episodes every single Friday for the first quarter. And in fact, pretty soon, we're actually about to have our election for the second Games Club this year, which will take place in quarter two. It's still going to be a few weeks before that happens, but that is a perk that's available at any paid tier on the Patreon. $1 and up, you can hop in at $1 and vote. And the category for the next Games Club is going to be Games Club sequels. So the 5 nominees are going to be sequels to games we've already covered on the Games Club. So do you want us to play games like Resident Evil 4 or Pokemon Gold and Silver or even Mass Effect 2? You're going to be able to vote and help us pick. And if you want to check out the Games Club, but you're like, hey, I'm not in a place to donate, or I don't feel like giving anybody my money, check out the free feed over at Super NPC Games Club, wherever you get your podcasts. Currently, what's airing there is our Sonic Adventure series. We're on episodes 7 of 12. So if you ever wanted to hear more than 5 minutes on Sonic Adventure, folks, we've got like 15 hours of content on that game. So that's part of what you can find on the free feed. Of course, patreon.com/supernpcradio, where I, Connor McCabe, host a bonus series, the indie co-op series we were mentioning earlier. Yeah, it's a great place that if you want to support us and get some bonus podcasts and help us grow, check us out there. There's going to be a link in the show notes. But folks, it's time for the main event. We're heading to the game show. It is none other than the video game dating game. Now, Kristin and Oscar, I don't know if you have the stream up right now, but if you don't, you're going to want to pull it up just to see the gorgeous layout that I have made for the game show that we're going to be playing today.
Beautiful.
The viewers at home watching on Twitch or watching the video version later can see a little bit of what we've got going on. But without further ado, what we're going to be doing today is we have 3 eligible Bachelor video games hiding behind one of 3 doors. And what's going to happen today is that our 2 contestants here, Kristin Thorsin and Oscar Montoya, are going to team up to interview the game from behind the door and try to suss out what game they are specifically. And then there's going to be a little twist at the end of the format as well for each of them. Also, I should say, there is something tying the games together. There's going to be a commonality here. So maybe once you get 2 of them, it might help you find the third one. We'll have to say. Why don't we go ahead and start? Kristin, do you want to ask a game behind a door a question to try to start to suss this out?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I have doors 1 through 3, right? All
Doors
right.
1 through 3. And
Okay.
I promise I'll remember which doors they are so I can properly do the character.
Okay. All right. Well, video game number 3. I'm a hungry girl because I play video games and they make me hungry. What would you make me for dinner, video game 3?
Well, nice to meet you. I'm glad to hear that you're hungry, and this is the voice I'm going to do for all of them, just in case a voice would give it away. I promise this isn't indicating one. If you were hungry, I mean, I like to keep things, when it comes to food in my game, I like to keep things really simple. I'm not saying that a product like Soylent would be in my game, but I would keep things simple. So you're not going to find any crazy foods like chicken or turkey or a sandwich or pasta. And there's no potions. No potions. But the food is simple, and you might be able to ration off the food that you have.
Thanks, food.
You're
Game
welcome.
number 3. That's some real food for thought.
It is.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oscar, do you have a question for one of the contestants? And I promise to differentiate the voice a little more so you know when it's host Connor and game talking.
I'd like to ask a question to video game door number 1.
Oh, hello. Is that different enough?
Is that Deckard Cain?
Okay, so my question is for you. When it comes to being in a partnership, I love to know, I am a big fan of like you doing your own thing and me doing my own thing in terms of like friendship, a close-knit community, every like a sort of like you need your yin to your yang,
space sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Batman to your Robin, a Samwise to your not Bilbo, what's his name? Frodo. Who is your other half? And what would they say about you potentially dating me?
Well, my other half, I would say if I had to describe my other half, and what's a way I can do this, I would say that maybe I might not have, the main character in my game might not have a relationship, but what my main character does have is an opposite, someone who, in other games in the series, is normally portraying the player character. So they have another half who might be a little less royal. The other half might be and I'm probably not even answering the question. The other half is not afraid to throw around a chain or possibly even go and find some magic on the ground. But we
What would
both
they say about
both do well is we're
Okay.
both good at jumping and platforming. And
Okay,
by the
fantastic.
way, at the end of this, if anyone we're really far away from guesses, I will just lead you right to it, so don't worry. So that's door number
Okay.
1.
Thank you, door number 1.
I feel like you answered that question so succinctly.
I felt like I talked forever.
Oh man.
Any
All right.
questions for door number 2, perhaps?
Yeah, I got a question for door number 2. Door number 2, much like Oscar, I also like to be able to like do my own thing, you do your own thing. But sometimes I want to host. I want to have some friends over. I want you to meet my friends and spend some time with them. How's that gonna go over with you if I want to bring over some friends to enjoy you?
Okay, I'm gonna do a different voice for door. It was door number 2, right? That's who you're asking?
Yeah.
If you want to host the party, I think that'd be great. The main character in my game doesn't see themselves as a leader. In fact, they're more of a lone wolf. So adjusting to a party scenario might be hard, even if they find themselves in a party, which the main character in my game does. So they might be a bit of a stick in the mud, but they will still participate.
It's Squidward.
It must be Squid.
So far, I think what we know is
Yeah,
that
we got
for door number 1, door number 1's main character isn't in a relationship, but has an opposite in other games in the series, and is good at platforming. And I think the opposite of them also throws around a chain and finds magic. Door number 2 is sort of a stick in the mud who sees themselves as a lone wolf, but if found in a party scenario, which they are often, will still hang around. And then door number 3, I believe what we learned about them is that they like to keep meals simple, and that the food in their game there's not food in their game like I said, a piece of chicken or soup or anything like that. It's all practical. It's all rationed off. So that's what we know about the 3 doors. Do we want to ask them any more questions? And I
I
assume
would
that
like
we
to
don't have a
ask a
guess yet.
question.
Maybe.
Cool. Go ahead, Oscar.
My question is for door number 3.
I'll make
You know-
this door number 3's voice.
What? But wait, different? Different voice. Okay.
I think I don't need to differ the voices. I'll just do number 3. And again, they literally have nothing to do with each game.
Door number 3. Once we're established in a long-term relationship, something that I find kind of nice is having a sort of pet name for each other. What would your pet name for me be based on, just specifics in your life?
Oh, best name for you as I ban a bot on Twitch for spamming us. Let's see, I think that did it. There we go. You were asking for what would a pet name be for you from me, and it's like in universe.
Yes, in universe. Yes, exactly.
Well, I would say that according to the game that I am and the characters you find in it, I say my nickname for you might be, how about, I'm trying to think of something that's not gonna give it away, but that kind of gets us closer. How about, uh, Sturdy Frog. Sturdy Frog. That's a nickname that someone in the universe might have, even if I don't think there's anyone with that.
That's what you would
name.
call me. You would call me Sturdy Frog.
Come on
Yes,
over
I
here,
don't
my
think-
sturdy frog.
I don't think anyone has that code name in this universe.
Code name. Interesting.
Oh boy.
That might be a clue.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, I get it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Well, okay, that
Oh.
was good information on door 3. Kristen, do you have another question for either door 1 or 2?
Yeah, I've got a question for door number 1.
Okay.
I'd like to, if we get together, I'd love to take you on a vacation, and I just kind of want to know which of these would be best for you to visit and why. Would you rather visit a tropical beach, like maybe Hawaii, Mexico? Would you rather go skiing on a ski getaway, go to Aspen? Or would you rather go to maybe like a spooky castle together, like a castle, some might say,
Interesting.
in Transylvania or something like that?
Interesting. Well, I think this was roughly the voice I was doing. Or no, it's actually kind of sounding like door number 2, but whatever. These 3 possible vacations sound so interesting. I would say the main character in my game, I think that they would find a tropical location would be relaxing, even though they are quite pale, and you would have to make sure that they use a lot of sunblock while they're there. And I'm trying to think if there's any rules against what I know about the character in universe, if that would harm them. I think they would be fine, but I could be wrong. I think they would like the cold, but if they were to be there, they'd probably prefer to be indoors. And then, lastly, in a castle in you said something about Transylvania. I don't. We're talking about a vacation, and I think they'd prefer to go somewhere that is more foreign and not so close to home. If you catch my drift.
Yeah, I catch your draft because this castle is so
Oh,
drafty.
that's very interesting. You're funny.
Thanks, door number 1.
You're so welcome. The character in my game would be lucky to be with you. Anyway, does either of you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll throw to the host. Oscar or Kristen, do either of you have a question for since 1 and 3 have had 2 questions answered? Any question for door 2 you'd like to ask?
Yes,
And if
I
you ever
would
need
like to
refreshing,
ask.
let me know.
I would like to ask a two-parter where the first half I ask a question and then the second half Kristen will ask a
I
question.
love it.
Okay.
I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm in.
Part one of this two-parter is, one of my favorite things to do with a date is to watch movies and enjoy a film. What would you say based on your experience and your what kind of genre do you enjoy watching? Maybe a favorite film you want to throw into the mix there would be nice.
Should I wait for Kristin to ask the second part, or should I answer and then answer the next question?
Oh, I mean, I don't know if Kristen has it. I just wanted it to
Okay.
be fair, so we can all ask the same
That's
amount of questions.
So kind. I'll go ahead. It's more like this. I think this is where it is. The main character.
I'm really worried about our doors dying
Yeah.
before the end of the show.
I think they're just literally disintegrating.
I've actually never been better. What I would say, for the game that I am, a character in my game. I'm trying to think about how to answer this. They would, they don't, they. I think this main character in my game might be too good for movies. I think, but if they did watch a movie, it would probably be something depressing because it seems like they like to lean into the depressing, is what I might say. I might even say that, uh, in the lean into the depressing part of it, they might lean into a world that is being oppressed, possibly by a corporation. So if there's any games that have something like that, or movies, excuse me, I think that would be the type of movie that the main character would like to watch. Does
Thank
that
you.
answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Now, does anyone have more questions, or I'll throw to the host. These are some great questions. You guys are really, really doing well
Yeah.
here. Do we have any
And
guesses?
listen, contestants, you don't have to say throw it to the host. Like, I think the host could just,
I should honestly just be
pick it up.
jumping in to take over for that. I feel like they're
Yeah,
making
yeah.
up for me not doing my job. But do we have any guess of who's behind doors 1, 2, or 3 at this point?
Oscar, do you feel confident about door number 1?
I feel confident about door number 3.
Oh,
And
because I have
mean,
no idea about door number 3.
Okay.
Ooh,
okay.
I love this.
You guess 1, and then I'll guess 3. I think
Okay.
maybe. Do you know 2? Are you?
No, I am
And
so
there's no
baffled by the
penalty
last
for
answer.
guessing wrong.
I think I might know 2, but
Okay. Well, door number 1, I know, you said Transylvania might be a little too close to home and that your opposite whips around a chain. That makes me think, are you Castlevania?
Well, yes, I am Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And for those watching at home, they now can see the cover of my game over door 1. Well done, Kristin.
Woohoo! So am I going on a date with Simon or the Alucard, or
Well,
I don't know the other one's name?
It's just the game, but
okay.
I'll get to the. Don't worry, I'll get to the date portion after.
Okay.
Oh.
Oscar, do you think you had a guess for number 3?
I think I have a guess for number 3. This is, I think, based on, your pet name for me, number 3, Sturdy Frog. I would guess that it is Metal Gear Solid under door number 3.
I am Metal Gear Solid. Very good job, Oscar. And the viewers at home can now see that Metal Gear Solid's game cover is over door 3. Well done.
Well, okay, you guys have gotten 2 out of 3. Did someone have an instinct before I give an obvious clue to what is to game 2?
I
Oscar
think
does, yeah.
I might know
Okay.
who's hiding behind door number 2. And I think this is someone who doesn't really like corporations. Is it Final Fantasy VII?
It's Final Fantasy VII.
Oh my God, I'm so stupid.
You got it right. And the funny thing is, when I started doing these voices, I didn't realize this one would actually be kind of similar to characters in this game. Reunion. Okay, okay.
Oh, I thought
door
you were
number
going
two.
for Buchenhagen.
You two have done it. Behind door number 1 was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Behind door number 2 was Final Fantasy VII. Behind door number 3 was Metal Gear Solid. And what ties all these games together? They're all PlayStation 1 games. Been a nice little theme today. I mean, I didn't talk about it earlier, but we're
Are
doing
they
a bunch of
PlayStation
bonus.
Classic games?
Say it again.
Are they PlayStation Classic games?
2 of them are on there. Castlevania Symphony of the Night isn't,
Oh.
but the other 2
Oh.
are.
Ah.
And so that would have been nice if they all 3 were. But we're doing
Well, now you have Mario instead.
truly. We're doing a year-long PlayStation 1 celebration. So we're doing little episodes with characters sprinkled on them, fun games like this, some special streams. Yeah, but anyway, I have a final twist for the format. Now, this is something each of you get to do eventually, individually. What we are going to do now is that each of you with these 3 potential suitors are going to play the game that everyone knows: play, display, or sell. You're going to pick one game that you want to play, one game that you want to play, I guess theoretically one time, a game that you are going to display that you will keep forever, and a game that you are going to sell and it's gone. Kristin, I'm going to go and start with you. Do you know what you'll play, display, and sell?
I am selling Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, take that.
I cannot. Well,
la
here's the
carte.
thing. It's mostly because I'm very bad at this.
Oh.
I've tried one Castlevania game. I cannot get that platforming down. So straight back to the shop with you. So if I display something, am I still allowed to play it?
I think yes, technically, but
Okay.
I'm just trying to draw
Okay.
the mapping of you know what.
No, I don't know. Will you tell me?
I can't.
Copyright issues. Copyright.
We've already had our one sex joke on the episode. But yeah. So what's gonna play and what's gonna display?
All right, I'm displaying Final Fantasy VII.
All right.
I do love me some Final Fantasy VII, and then I'm gonna play Metal Gear Solid, a game that I've never played before. So
Oh,
That's- I gotta say, well done. That's great. So Kristin is going to play Metal Gear, display Final Fantasy VII, and sell Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Oscar, same question to you: play, display, sell.
Well, Kristen and I both have the same display, which is Final Fantasy VII. A great game. Played it. It's fantastic. Let the world celebrate the magnificence of Final Fantasy VII. However, I will have to switch the responses for that. I am playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I'm chucking Metal Gear Solid. Oh, it's not that it's a bad game. It's just the part where the Psycho Mantis level just like destroyed me as a child,
Oh,
and I had
no.
no idea what to do. And I just going back and like remembering all of that like
Yes.
stress I had for a video game. I
Yeah.
was like, no, this feels like a little prank. So for
Was
that,
it the sort of thing as a kid, Oscar? Was it the fact that it was like you were racking your head to figure out the solution, or that it was scary what it was doing?
it wasn't scary. I thought it was really cool. Like the fact that
Oh.
he was able to shake the controller. I was like, oh, what the hell? My controller could do that. But then like the cheat that you had to put it in P2, I was like, no, that was so not for
Gotcha.
me.
So for Oscar, we have play Castlevania Symphony of the Night, display Final Fantasy VII, and sell Metal Gear Solid. Folks, that is going to do it for the first ever edition of the video game dating game. Who knows if it's going to come back? We'll have to see.
Woo!
And that's actually going to bring us to the end of today's episode of Video Games, a comedy show. On our way out, I'd love to turn to my guests for some plugs. Kristin Thorsin, A, welcome back. B, what do you want us to know? Where do you want the people to find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I occasionally Twitch stream. I'm really spotty at it, but if that's interesting to you, it's Kristin on Twitch, and I'm on Blue Sky under the same thing. And that's it for me. The only other thing I want you guys to know is I have a really cute cat, and her name's Juno. You should check her on Blue Sky, on my Blue Sky.
And she opens doors apparently.
She did, yeah. Right before we recorded, she opened the door behind me.
Clever girl. Kristin, 3 perfect plugs. Thanks for doing it. Oscar, thanks for being here. And what do you want to plug on your way out?
I'm plugging my socials, I guess. Ozzy, what is I
I think
don't
it's
remember
Ozzy
what it
Dash
is.
Mo on Blue Sky.
Ozzy Dash Ozzy Dash Mo on Blue Sky.
That's the
You can
posh
follow me at
dash.
Ozzy Mo. Yeah. Yeah, it's a fancy dash. I'm at Ozzy Mo on Instagram. And also I have a Eurovision Song Contest podcast called Eurovangelist, and you can follow that at Eurovangelist on Blue Sky and on Instagram.
I love it. Well, folks, without further ado, I'm going to close this out with some plugs of my own. If you want to find me, Connor McCabe, guest host of this here episode, I'm on Blue Sky at Connor McCabe, on Instagram at Connor_McCabe, on Twitch at twitch.tv/consiscool69, where I'm streaming all sorts of stuff. So if you want to come for some variety and some fun and a good time, follow me there. You can also follow Video Games, a Comedy Show, all over social media at VGA Pod. Next Friday, I almost said September. It's February. What? Next Friday, February 21st. If you're listening to this right now, speaking of the PlayStation 1, we are embarking to space for the 22nd time, and we are going to do the PlayStation Space Solace Redux. We drafted games from the PlayStation way back in 2019. Folks, we are revisiting that in space. This is our Desert Island meets Fantasy Draft scenario with a little narrative twist. It's so much fun. Kristin is going to be there.
It's me.
Oscar, I don't know how much a fan of I know it's been all PlayStation 1 today, but how do you feel about the PlayStation 1?
It's great.
Okay.
I love it.
Well, that's enthusiasm. But on this Twitch channel, where we're streaming this episode right now, twitch.tv/SuperNPCRadio, Friday, September 21st at 6 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be live in space picking our favorite games and hopefully an asteroid.
You said September again.
I did? Okay. February 21st. Why September? It's not even like 6 months ago. It's 7 months. 7 months in the future. Anyway, check us out there.
Well, are you thinking maybe like September, Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah,
That's like,
the
I just can't
21st
get it
of
out of my
September.
head.
Yeah.
That's
Is
what
that
I
why?
do. I think it's the only explanation for it, for sure. And then lastly, I plugged it earlier at the break, but check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/SuperNPCRadio for more bonus episodes from me and Jeremy Schmidt, the maker of this show. A bunch of great bonus stuff, our Games Club, the co-op series. We're doing some special PS1 bonus episodes, including coming out pretty soon. We'll have the launch of the PlayStation 1, a special just overview that Jeremy and I are going to do about that. Again, yeah, the link's in the show notes. Patreon.com/SuperNPCRadio. Thank you for listening to another episode of Video Games, a Comedy Show. Stay safe out there, all you toads on the road, and we'll see you on the next one.